What's up, guys? Brian Nelson here, and I'm going to take you through my 3-gun match shotgun from Taran Tactical Innovations, from the front end to the back end, and explain what gets done to these guns to make them fast, to make them a little bit more reliable. So we'll start right here at the front end. When you get an M2 from Taran, you have your choice of magazine tube length. I have a 12-shot tube on here. It's actually got a modular coupler, so I can actually put another tube on here and make it even longer if I wanted to. But this tube holds 12 shells. Comes with a barrel clamp. He puts a high-vis tri-comp front sight on here, which is triangular, so it gives you a very fine aiming point, gathers light very well. Very fine stippling on the front end, on the fore end, and then you get your option if you want to add a match saver to the side of the gun as well. If we look at the loading port, it's pretty obvious based on a stock gun that a fair amount of work's been done, and a fair amount of thought has actually been put into how they do the loading port for quad loading. So you see, obviously, the biggest difference is you can see all the shiny stuff, and they cut this side lower just because the serial number's here. There's a pin here. The shell lifter or carrier is one piece, manufactured new as a closed-end carrier. The front end of the loading port has been cut forward quite dramatically, and the handguard has had 3 flats sanded into it. And what those flats are for is if you're doing a quad load of any sort, first stack goes in, they've made a clearance for that second stack, whether you're doing strong hand quads on this side or weak hand on this side. It's a polished and tuned shell catch with a big release on it. You'll also notice that the front end of the port has been cut such that I don't have to stick my thumb in there to push those stacks of 2 shells in there. The back end of the trigger guard, or front end rather, has been radiused out. That acts as a guide. And then we have the extended controls, extended bolt release, extended bolt handle. The bolt has been lightened. That does a couple things. It speeds up the cyclic rate, so there's less chance of you outrunning the gun, pulling the trigger while the bolt's still going forward and you get a click, nothing happens. And then it also reduces the amount of reciprocating mass coming back, so the gun shoots a little bit less violently. We've got the extended safety. That's also a little bit easier to flip on and off than the factory Benelli model. We have a sling mount in the back that, if you have a shorter tube, can act as a single point mount, or I can put another sling mount on the Nordic barrel clamp and use that to sling it 2-point behind my back. That other function of this is it actually kicks the pistol grip of the gun up if you have it laying on a table, so you can get your fingers under it. Stippling on the back end, and then we're getting close to the end. Standard Benelli ComfortTech stock, and then the heel and toe of the butt stock have actually been rounded off so that there's less chance of it snagging on a shirt while you're either going to a strong hand quad load, coming from port arms up. Less chance of that grabbing a shirt, snagging, and giving you a little bit of a jacked up mount on the first shot. So that's kind of head to toe what you get on a Taran Tactical Innovations Benelli M2. And this one's a little bit special. There are many like it, but this one's mine.